Hey, everybody. Happy Thursday. This is your girl, CWall, checking in for another edition of Coaching from the Couch. Give y'all a chance to get on in the virtual room so we can get started. So exciting as always. And this has been a big week. It has for sure been a whirlwind of a week, you guys. But I know you already know that. You already know that. Saying hey to my mom. Mom is always watching and always tuned in. I see a check-in from Mr. Lawrence Bullard of Team Bullard and Team Bullard Academy. What's up, my good friend? Listen, I'm going to give y'all a minute to jump on in and just get started on the show. As always, you want to make sure you are sharing the show with your DC sports loving family and friends. Always watching. Also, DC sports fan Cameron Mingo is tuned in. CWall Chaplain Mazdak Merrick is tuned in. You all make sure you are sharing this show, you guys. Because, as always, when is there a dull moment? That would be never when it comes to DC sports. Good evening to my good friend Greg Stewart. Now, y'all, listen. I'm going to go ahead and tell on Greg. Greg, if that's the Greg I think it is, he's a Dallas fan, everybody. Dallas Cowboys fan. But we welcome them as well. We welcome them always as well. Always welcoming all the fans. So make sure you all are tagging your DC sports loving family and friends in the show, because we are going to talk. We're going to go through March Madness, our local teams that are in March Madness. The Wizards are playing right now. Lord help us. They're winning right now, 29-20. They're playing the Utah Jazz. They are winning right now. So let's just pray through that. And, of course, we're going to talk Washington football free agency. So, Greg, feel free to stick around. Because the last time that I checked, the Washington football team was making moves and your team was not. Anyway, just a little jokey joke with my Dallas Cowboys friends. And y'all say what's up to our sister Joy. Joy is tuned in, sharing the show, locking everybody in. Damon, we see you. We see you. Listen, again, March Madness, Wizards, let us pray, and Washington football free agency. So let's go ahead and get right on into it, y'all, because it's a lot as always. We're covering March Madness first. So, you guys, we have a ton of local teams. I feel like it's a ton. If it's more than two, that's a ton as far as I'm concerned in this sense. Okay, I'm not exaggerating. It's a lot going on. So, March Madness, Maryland's women's basketball team and the men, they're both playing in the tournament. Oh, by the way, Maryland is playing Mount St. Mary's. Maryland's women, they will be playing Mount St. Mary's. Mount St. Mary's is a local team. So two local teams battling it out in the women's NCAA tournament. We got to shout both of them out. They will be playing on Monday. They will be in the San Antonio bubble. So excited. Super excited for both of these teams. They both deserve to be there. Maryland is a number 2 seed and a favorite to win the NCAA women's tournament. So we will absolutely be watching. I cannot wait. It's going to be awesome. So shout out to Maryland for sure. And Mount St. Mary's, you guys. We got to shout out Mount St. Mary's too. One of our smaller schools, but still absolutely deserves to be in the building. They have earned their right to play in the tournament. So we're gonna root for them. It's one of those games where we can't lose, DMV sports fans. We cannot lose. We're gonna win either way. We're gonna win either way. Then, of course, let's check it out. And shout out to Maryland, too, because they are the Big Ten champs. The Maryland women. Terps. Listen. Are there any Terps fans on the chat? Are there any Terps fans locked in? Because y'all go ahead and tag in your Maryland Terps fans and Terp alumni. Because they lit. They all the way lit. The women's team is playing. The men's team is playing. Maryland will face off against UConn on Saturday. So, listen. I saw, Demar, your comment. Norfolk State, absolutely. Norfolk State play today. And that's exactly why I wore my Hampton Blue CWall sweatshirt, okay? Because, hey, listen, it's all love. It's all HBCU love. Texas Southern is playing. I think they were playing earlier. I'm not sure if they won or lost. But shout out to all the HBCUs. You know I got to rep all the time. And, you know, Hampton has had a time or two and pulled an upset or so, if you recall. Yes, it was many years ago, but it doesn't matter. An upset is an upset. It's still going in history. Down in history is one of the biggest upsets. Okay? So when they beat Iowa State, all right, I'm going to listen. It was a long time ago, but we shall never forget. So I have to rep my school. I have to rep my Hampton Blue because yes, listen, I already knew. And my sister Joy, she already peeped it. I'm digging the Hampton Blue. Thank you, sis. I'm glad you saw that. I done cut off all conversation about Maryland and had to say, wait a minute, about the HBCUs. Now we back. Maryland fans, good luck. Y'all, listen, y'all have a lot to be proud of. Amazing teams. Is awesome what Coach Freeze is doing. Also what Coach Turgeon is doing. It's all great. All great and wonderful. Shout out to the Terps. Where are the Georgetown Hoyas fans? Georgetown Hoyas fans, please check in. If you a Georgetown Hoyas fan, absolutely check in. And while the Hoyas fans are checking in, shout out to Norfolk State. You did beat Missouri. That's what's up. That is what's up. Listen, the Georgetown Hoyas last Saturday defeated Creighton University to win the Big East Championship. Now, you all know, because we've talked about the Hoyas on this show a time or two or three or four or five. And sometimes it doesn't look good for the Hoyas. It looks a little dicey. Matter of fact, they were about at 500 and they were able to persevere. They shut down due to COVID. You all know that we all lost the legend, John Thompson. I couldn't be more happy for Patrick Ewing and the group of guys and just that staff. Shout out to the Georgetown Hoyas. Let's see. The Hoyas. Oh, I want to talk to y'all about this because this is important. I feel like this is important. March Madness information. They are a number 12 seed. They will be playing the number 5 seed Colorado. But check this out, y'all. I think this is important. Pay attention. Number 5 versus number 12 is a matchup that historically produces upsets throughout the years. Okay? This is when we got to pull out the historic knowledge. It's only been, I'm looking at my notes here, 5 years that a 12 seed has not beaten a 5 seed in the men's tournament. So it only happened 5 years. In 1988, 2000, 2007, 2015, and 2018. I feel like the Hoyas have a very good chance of winning. I do. I absolutely do. I feel good about it. I feel great about it. I'm talking about I feel good. I feel great about it. And I wholeheartedly expect for us to be happy about a Hoyas win. Listen, I'm rooting for all the local teams. All of them. All of them just win. Just go win the tournament. I have to be honest and also say I didn't even realize that the tournament was going to go down, y'all. I was sitting here like, are they even playing? They absolutely are. So more to come. It is an exciting time. March Madness is back. And we have our local teams representing. So let's get excited, y'all. That's absolutely something that we should be cheering on and happy about. Next topic, we are transitioning over to the Wizards. Now, before I know, listen, Joy already said it. In today's drag spotlight, it's the Washington Wizards. So look, I think that the Wizards might be okay. They might be okay today. I'm just looking at the TV. If everyone is tuned in to the game, looks like Russell Westbrook is already having a great game, having a great showing. And the Wizards are actually up by 16 points. It is the second quarter. They got about 10 minutes left in the second quarter. So let's just hope it stays that way. Maybe they knew in their spirit that all of this was going down tonight. And they're like, listen. But let me back up for a minute, seriously. The Wizards have not won a game in the second half of the season yet. They need to win a game. Some of the games that they have played thus far, I feel strongly. Last night, they should not have lost that game last night. I feel strongly about that. Would have liked to have seen them compete against the Grizzlies, although the Grizzlies are a very tough matchup. We talked about that last week. Would have liked to have seen them split against the Bucks. But they didn't. They are still looking and searching for a win. And that is that's just one of those things where I feel like this can't happen. You can see it on the guys' faces, just totally defeated. As we all are mentioning and talking about the Triple W podcast, I want to shout out my colleagues on the Triple W podcast. I hope you all were now on Spotify, so make sure you all subscribe there, subscribe on YouTube. Today is actually it's been 2 years. When we first did a podcast, Becca Winkert, Brianna Holmes, Karita Parks, and myself, it was 2 years ago today. And we were just after a game. And we said, you know what? Becca said, hey, you guys want to do a podcast? And we did one. We sat in on her then podcast, Locked On Wizards. And we said, sure, we'll do it. And here we are 2 years later, working together collaboratively and bringing you all the Triple W podcast every week. And I felt like it was important to share that because we had no idea when we were doing that 2 years ago. That was just, we were together after a game and we were like, oh, let's just do a podcast. And we did it. We enjoyed it. But we had no idea that in the future we would be working together and doing this awesome and amazing thing called Triple W. So shout out to all the subscribers. Go and subscribe now while you're listening to me talk and sharing this show with your DC sports loving family and friends. So we absolutely wanted to share that with you guys as well, because let me tell you something. It wasn't so bad the other night when we recorded, but I shared with the ladies. I said, listen, I am so glad we recorded this show before they lost to the Sacramento Kings, because your girl CWall may have had a meltdown on the recording, because I was not happy last night. I was like, this is bad. Now, even going back for a moment, I guess it was after the Bucks game. All of these days run together, y'all. Watching the Wizards, sitting in on these press conferences, all the days are running together. So I'm going to say it wasn't against the Kings, so it was against Monday night's contest against the Milwaukee Bucks. And we mentioned this on the podcast as well. That was the first time that I had really felt some emotion from Coach Scott Brooks. Coach Scott Brooks was mentioning that he wasn't going to sleep. losing feels miserable. You come here to, you either win or you lose. So you get if you win, you get an A. If you lose, you get an F. So we got an F. And I was like, dang. I was looking at my computer like, Coach Brooks a little spicy tonight. And I'm sure he's completely stressed out. People want him fired after every game. So, and he knows that. And it's hard. I'm sure that it is hard. It is. But some of these mistakes that we see the team make, it's like, come on, guys. And I really feel strongly that this team should be performing a lot better than they are. Now, granted, is every team going to win every game? No, they are not. But something has got to give. Now, they're doing a good showing right now. Let's hope they keep this up, because the sense that I'm getting just from the press conferences, they're wearing thin. They're wearing thin. They're getting angry. They're getting upset. And they know they desperately need a win. And these simple, fundamental mistakes just cannot happen if you want to close and win basketball games. It can't occur. It cannot occur. So, hey, they're up now, 40-27 against the Utah Jazz. It's about 7 minutes left in the first half. Let's see if they hold on to this win. If they do not, pray for your girl. Seriously. I'm going to be like, listen, I can't do this. Come on, everybody. And yes, I kind of beat my desk here a little bit, because it gets to be a lot. So, with that being said, I think we have about 12, 13 minutes left in the show. Let's go ahead and move on to Washington football free agency frenzy. I believe I see the originator has joined us. Everybody say what's up to the originator. Listen, we have had so much fun covering free agency. If you are a Washington football fan and you are still tuned into this show, make sure you are sharing the show with your fellow Washington football team fans. We need a like or a love emoji. We need something, a fire emoji, something to let me know that you are all the way tuned in and slightly turned up regarding free agency. So, let me go ahead. If you all remember, last week and the week prior, we said, please make sure you are reading the originator's articles. Very detailed outline of exactly where upgrades were needed on the team and the available players out in free agency that the team would be looking or should be looking to add. So let's go through the tracker. What we did is we took the originators list and we said, okay, let's take this list. Let's do some research. Let's figure out perhaps maybe the team is seeking out these folks. And let's go for it. And let's see. And we've been tracking this all week. Straight up grades so far. We're going to get into this. We're going to get into the moves that the team has made thus far and what you all think. But first, overall grades. How do you think the team is doing in free agency? And while you all are sharing that, let's go through. I see Miss Debbie Snyder has tuned in, one of the biggest Washington football team fans that I know personally. And as she said, I was sad to see Nick Sudburn go. I was really sad to see him go. Nick does so much in the community. He's such a nice person, such a proud Washington football team member. So it was sad to see him go. But business is business. I got over that quite quickly. So I see a couple of the grades coming in. Cameron, you give them a B. Damon, you give them a B so far. You know, hey, I'm going to tell y'all this. A B is good. They did show up this free agency. And what I say by showing up is things that we've talked about on this very show together are exactly what they went out and they filled those positions. And I'm not mad about that. That's exactly what they should do. They have filled them in free agency. And the contracts aren't bad at all. As far as I'm concerned, the Washington football team is not breaking the bank. They're not going for broke out here. They are signing these players to reasonable contracts and may even be under a bit based on the market and the caliber of play. So I already see Wallace. What's up? I don't know if I said what's up to you already, but if I did not, hello. Glad you are here. Let's go right and jump right to it. Wallace has already shared that he didn't really like the Fitzpatrick signing. How do you all feel about the Ryan Fitzpatrick signing? He had a press conference today, and I think he's hilarious, by the way. If you haven't checked it out, please make sure that you do. I thought it was cool. Funny guy. Here's one thing that I keep laughing about to myself, and I'm going to share it with you all about Ryan Fitzpatrick, and that is so many complaints about Alex Smith, right? And him being, captain check down, and Alex is not going to throw the ball. He's not going to throw it. He's going to be very careful. He's going to be very meticulous. He's just going to, one thing about Ryan Fitzpatrick. Oh, he's going to throw the football. He is absolutely going to throw the football. Now, we don't know who's going to catch it because we do know that he is interception prone. We know that. Other kind of dings to Ryan Fitzpatrick is, he's played for so many teams. But that's one of the things that the originator and I talked about, and that is, when Sherrod and the originator are the same person, so that everybody knows. In case you didn't, I'm sure you did, but I just wanted to say that. So I go back and forth between calling him Sherrod and the originator when I'm talking to you all. One thing that he shared with me when he was creating his list in the free agency, it's, hey, this could easily be a guy that can mentor your younger quarterbacks, which is absolutely correct. If you also take a notice and look at others in the media, across the media and across the teams that he's been on, nothing but positive things to say about Fitzpatrick, his demeanor, his attitude, his relationship with his teammates. So I think that's good. They got him what? It's like a year. It's a year contract, low dollar amount. It's obvious that he'll be a stopgap. It's not something that it's like, oh, he's locked in. And that's where my concern kind of came in at. Like, wait a second. I would like to see the team lock in their future quarterback this offseason. So it remains to be seen because, hey, it's still been discussed and talked about that Washington still may draft a quarterback. So let's think about that. The potential that the team may still draft a quarterback. Oh, by the way, yes, we know that Kyle Allen is coming back. We know that they signed Taylor Heineke to a contract as well. But Ryan Fitzpatrick actually shared in today's presser that he was told that he would have an opportunity to start. And I guess he felt like, hey, if you giving me an opportunity, I'm going to go for the opportunity. Why not? So, hey, listen, I'm not mad about it. I tell people like this Ryan Fitzpatrick signing, did I love it? I didn't necessarily love it, but I didn't hate it because I understood it. So I said, okay, if you're taking a look at all the other available free agent quarterbacks, I absolutely understand. So then I said, all right. And hey, Ryan said it today. Quite a few teams, I believe he said more than 3, had actually reached out to him and talked to him. So, Washington football team got him, and I'm not mad about it. Okay, bring that high energy to the locker room. Bring that positive high energy to the locker room, and let's finally make this a quarterback competition. Because I think that you bring him in for an opportunity to start. I think that's the right message to give. But it's still anybody's position right now. Clearly, I was hoping for a lock-in position, but right now it's still anybody's position. So that is what that is, and it's okay. I think it's going to be all right. I think it's going to be all right. Remains to be seen. More to come when it comes to that. Now, wide receiver. Curtis Samuel. How you all feeling about that? Now, this was a name that had been talked about and matched with the Washington football team since last offseason. You know, there were stories and it was shared that Ron Rivera wanted to trade for him last offseason. Marty said, no, you won't get him. Not up in here. Now Marty is here. And here comes Curtis. Hello, Curtis. Welcome to DC, our new friend. Listen, that right there, that was good. Much appreciated, Ron Rivera. Again, great signing. I see Wallace says that that's a fantastic signing. Absolutely. And hey, what can you say? Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, going back to the point of Ryan Fitzpatrick. What did we say a moment ago? We know that he's going to do what? He's going to absolutely throw the football. We're not going to have to worry about any more checkdowns, everybody. That's dead. That's gone. We're not checking down nothing. Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to toss that ball all the way down the field. And we have 2 wide receivers that are fast enough to go and catch it. So, that is something to be excited about. Absolutely excited about that. Will Jackson III. I'm going to call him the third because that's his name. I thought that was very, now we'll be honest. Now, Curtis Samuel was on the CWall tracker. Ryan Fitzpatrick on the tracker. Will Jackson was not on our tracker. We had not been tracking Will Jackson, but I tell you what, that right there, that's an underrated player right there. Will Jackson, I believe, is probably underrated because, and not really probably paid too much attention to because he played for the Bengals, right? So, if you don't know about Will Jackson, check out the film. That was a steal because, again, not breaking the bank. And everyone is saying it. This guy is a CB1 getting CB2 money. We want to welcome him to the District of Columbia and to the DMV and say hello. So, as Cameron admitted, he had never heard of him because he doesn't watch the Bengals. That's right. The Bengals, they're not a good team. They're not, they're not that great of a team. And it's not like this is a team because of their record that, hey, everybody's watching all the time. But he was there and eyes were on him. Ron Rivera's eyes were absolutely on him. Hey, listen. And now he's in the burgundy and gold. I appreciate it. I really like the way that the team moved and has moved so far in free agency. You picked up a quarterback. Smart. You got a corner. Got your wide receiver. Today, they have locked in, I'm checking the tracker here, Tyler Larson, who was a former Carolina Panther. So he's here. David Mayo, linebacker, David Mayo, he's here, right? And David Mayo was drafted by Ron Rivera and Marty back in 2015. They're going down the list. And as long as they are addressing areas of need, I'm good with that. I'm fine with that. That is the right thing to do. And oh, by the way, they're getting players that are good. They're actually making upgrades. That's the thing. They're making upgrades. So hey, this is good. This is good. This is solid. Of course, would still like to see them make a move at free safety. So let's just see what happens there. Still need to see them either draft or pick up another linebacker. That's absolutely, because of course none of those guys were on our tracker. Still want to see some moves made there, and we'll see and continue to see how this plays out. So it remains to be seen, but so far what we've seen from the team in free agency has been positive and it's promising. So, you know, in terms of the receivers, we're actually having this conversation with Mazdak just earlier today. Let's not forget about Kelvin Harmon. Kelvin Harmon was expected to do big things last year, and he was injured last summer and out for the season. And he's expected to come back with something to prove, of course, absolutely, as he should. And so I'm excited about what the potential could be there for Kelvin, for certain. And before I sign off, because Cameron is bringing up an excellent point about the tight ends, I believe that there still needs to be another tight end. Of course, they drafted a tight end last year, had high hopes for that tight end, for Thaddeus Moss, and it did not work out. So we'll have to see what happens with the tight end position. We know two of the top tight ends, Bill Belichick picked both of them up early. So we'll still see. While I am impressed and I like what Logan Thomas brought to the team and what he brings, I still believe that the team needs another tight end. Remains to be seen. Remains to be seen. So, y'all, I think we've covered it. I think this is your weekly rundown in DC sports. We covered March Madness. We covered the Wizards, who are really winning now. This is almost going into halftime, and they are up on the Utah Jazz 60-38. So, listen, you guys. Thank you so much. This is always a pleasure, always a blast. Make sure you all are sharing this show with your DC sports loving family and friends. Of course, you can always catch the show later, but you know we always have a ton of fun when we are live and direct on the CWall Sports and Entertainment Facebook page. So I will be seeing you all next week. Please be safe, wash your hands, and continue to be blessed. Good night.